Hi, welcome in. Yeah, if you're watching this on replay, this is a live drawing session that I'm just about to start. I'm going to do something on this character, this Korp dog. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've got a big old space at the top there, so I'm just going to see if I can fill it today with something or other. But yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for joining in. Jessica, straight in, mate. You've definitely got me on notifications, haven't you? How are you, mate? You all right? Yeah, any ideas for what I should be drawing on this dog? Then let us know. There's a bit of me that just wants to put like a big old thing coming out of its head, but I'm not too sure what that should be yet. Might draw like something with a load of noses. What else have I got to draw? I'm doing Monster Mayhem in the Korp Academy, which is loads of weird things. Should try that. Let's do that. You have Discord. Was wondering how to follow you. What, on Discord do you mean? If you I don't really play around on Discord too much, apart from in there's a Corp Dogs community. You can go there. A bubble with his own face in it. That could work. I don't want to draw the same thing again, though. Do you know what I mean? Maybe what I'll draw is, I don't know. No, I'm going to draw something coming out of the head, I think. Maybe I can draw a bubble with a more handsome looking dog on there. I don't know. We'll see. Excel. I spend, so each of these drawings, they're usually about 1 hour at the most. These are all drawing tutorials. And yeah, they're all kind of step-by-step drawing tutorials. They usually take about an hour tops of me drawing, waiting for people to kind of copy along, and then seeing what happens afterwards. Right, let's go and do. Let's just play around with this. I'm going to do. Let's draw a character like that coming out of his head. There's some eyes, nose. Yeah, I think that'll work. We'll do something like that. I think that'll look okay. Okay, so you can send drawings. So yeah, go to find the Corp Dogs Discord. If you go to, you see the website down below, mate, korpacademy.com. If you go to there, go to korpacademy.com, let's draw. There's a hyperlink there for getting into the Discord. Okay, that's probably the best place I can go of showing you where to go to get access. And then obviously you have to kind of do some like authorization stuff to get into the Discord. But there's a little share your art channel there. Jessica, you're not part of the Korp Academy community. You're not in there, as in like the as in the community space. Because there's a share your art channel in there as well. But obviously that's a paid for thing. This is the Discord is a free thing. But yeah, korpacademy.com/let's draw, and you'll find something in there, mate. Okay. I still want to do that bubble with his own face in it. I kind of like that. I might just draw something over the side, like a. Do you mean like a thought bubble? Maybe this character can be doing that. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll see if I can do that. Thinking something. Let's put a face in, a mouth in. Just about there. That should do. Thanks, Maddie Lee. Love your work all the way from Australia. That's cool. So, what is it in Australia? What time is it in Australia? Is it? It must be really like late. It must be like middle of the night. because I know I get people joining my live sessions, which are in a couple of hours' time, and that's like 5 a.m. for them. What time are you watching, mate? Cheers, Pierce. Thank you very much, mate. I will get on with some drawing. What colour should I do this monster? In fact, I'm going to go and do the eyes first. A little bit of a shadow in there. And yeah, I'm looking for a colour to do the monster. Not red, because we've already got red in the dog down below, so something different. I promise I will kind of take somebody up on an idea at some stage. What's that? Metal bucket with a goo monster drooping on him. Metal bucket with a goo monster drooping on him. I mean, I do like the idea of drawing a metal bucket with a goo monster coming out of it. I think I'm a bit late on that for this one though, being able to squeeze that in somewhere. But I do like that idea. 1:50 a.m. Okay, that's not too bad, is it? Thanks for joining in though, mate. Hopefully this will send you off to sleep. Following from Portugal. Hi Bruno. Thanks for following from Portugal, mate. Appreciate that. Green. Okay, let's go green with the character. Let's start it about here. Green nose, green lip. Who else is in? Who's watching? Pierce says, by the way, what are you even drawing? Yeah, good question. I started this off, it was just the dog down the bottom. Just this red dog down the bottom. I had a big blank space up top, and so I wanted to put something in that big blank space. But I'm not a fan of drawing like ordinary stuff. I'm a fan of drawing weird stuff, and the reason I like drawing weird stuff is because there's no real rules on that. If you're drawing like normal stuff, then you've got to follow some like rules of like what a dog should look like, or what a dog should have on its head. But I don't want to do that, so I'm going to have this like big creature kind of growing out at the top of this dog's head. That's the plan anyway. We'll see what it looks like. Let's do this bit in that green as well. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can make it look like this character is growing out of a hole in this dog's head. Because why not? Yeah, man, I love weird stuff too. What weird stuff I've been drawing? I've been drawing loads of monsters recently. This is my other sketchbook. Loads of monsters recently. So you can get a bit of an idea of all the weird stuff that I draw. Yeah. Well, I really like the egg. It's even got a little hair for that fried egg. Yeah, monster. So yeah, who was it? Somebody said about the bucket, metal bucket. I was thinking about this. I like that. I can imagine that as the metal bucket with the some sort of monster coming out of it. A slime monster. Let's go and put on some light green. Just roughly putting on some big chunks of colour. It'll all kind of fall into place in a minute. As soon as I get this green bit on, maybe do something in the mouth. Cheers, mate. Yeah, this is my kind of vibe as well. I love drawing stuff where you're just winging it, just making it up as you're going along, just freestyling with it, just seeing what happens. Knowing that there's no real rules to it, you can just do whatever you want. Anybody who's out there, if you're watching, if you see like a heart button, please tap that. If you see a thumbs up button, tap that as well. Appreciate you doing that. That's the easiest way and the cheapest way of supporting what I'm doing. Who else? Who's watching? Let me know if you're out there and you're watching. If you've got any questions, throw them at me. I'll only be here for about, I don't know, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. We'll see. Maybe not even that long. We'll see how much of this weird character I can get done. Maddie, this is an Art Gecko freestyle sketchbook. It's a UK company. I don't think they ship everywhere in the world. You might be okay if you're in Australia. I think they ship into Australia. But it's it's a freestyle sketchbook. It's made for Posca pens. You can get a branded version with my Doodle with Korp logo on there, which I don't think costs any extra. So, get one of those ones. But go to the Art Gecko website, and it was a game changer for me when I first, because I always used to draw on cardboard, but finding out there was a sketchbook that worked with Posca pens was a game changer. Thank you, Mirror Chart. So all I'm doing at the moment is I'm just going to chuck on loads of colour, and then we'll add a bit of finesse to it afterwards. But I like the idea of just drawing it and making it up as you go along, not having an image in your head of what you want it to look like, but just sort of being really flexible with that idea. So I'm just chucking things on at the moment. You saw that. It was just a sausage, 3 eyes, 2 noses, 1 mouth. Colour it in, and then when I've coloured it in, then I can kind of say, I can have another look and sort of think, what needs changing, what's good, what's not. Any other pen brand that you recommend other than Posca? So I definitely recommend the Molotov One for All pens. They're pretty good, and from a sustainability point of view, the fact that you can fill them up is pretty cool as well. I also, with those pens, I also like the fact that they come in spray cans as well, so you can colour match exactly the same colour that comes out your pen as what comes out in the spray can. So if you're doing like bigger stuff or mural work that mixes with the details of marker work, they work really well together. So that's Molotov One for All. But that's about it. The only thing I would say is if anybody does go for like cheaper paint markers, they're all good, but they'll have less paint in them. You're more likely to have the nibs dry up. I once did some workshops with some like cheap paint markers, and they were great for the workshop. On the day, there was nothing wrong with them. Not always, the colour didn't always match what was on the lid, but that's not a big deal. But the reality was, when I went back to use them a week later, most of them didn't work anymore. The nib had dried up, or they were just completely out of paint. So I know these Posca pens are expensive, but they are pretty good. Somebody wants to. There's a lot of talk about surf pens at the moment, but one of my students said they're not as great as they were hoping, and a bit pricey as well. What pens are people using? Let me know what pens you're using. No worries, Maddie. If you get one and you get a Doodle with Korp one, make sure you tag me. If you post anything on Instagram, tag me, yeah? No worries, mate. Do need to have a little think about what I'm putting in the mouth. Is it just a set of teeth? Do I do a big tongue sticking out? I'm not sure. I'll give it some thought. What's normal pens, mate? What's normal pens? Just like regular felt tips, is that what you mean? because to me these are normal to me. That's kind of what I'm getting at. You know, when it comes to paint markers, they're normal paint markers for me. I'd be thinking Sharpies as normal pens. Okay, that's looking alright. What else should we do to it? Let's put in. Let's do that mouth. That mouth's bothering me. Gonna go with some yellow teeth. If I put in a big line of ochre around the top, and then some, yeah, just regular felt tips, mate. Yeah, nice. I mean, use whatever works for you. And if they're working for you, then that's perfect. I tell you what, though, the main reason I like using Posca pens or paint markers in general is for stuff like this. If you make a mistake, you can kind of just go over the top. You can fix it all, and you can change bits. Like on this one, I can, you know, that wrinkle across the top of the head, that's going to get in the way in a minute. So I'm just going to colour over that, get rid of it. Might need a couple of coats, but yeah, I want to bring this wormy kind of characters down a little bit. Missing tooth for sure. Oh yeah, I had a tooth taken out yesterday. That's why I'm currently awake. Okay. Fair enough. All right, yeah, I'll knock a tooth out for you, mate. Did you name that dog yet? No, these are called Korp dogs. There's about 5,000 of them. That I've kind of, it's part of like a digital art project that I did. So I do like 25 different sets of eyes, 20 different sets of noses, 20 different sets of snouts, 20 ears, 20 heads, 20 colours, that kind of thing. And then as you mash those all up, you know, as the system kind of mashes them all up, you get all these like loads of different dogs, which is really cool. So it's like I've drawn everything that is included in all these 5,000 dogs. I haven't drawn 5,000 dogs, but everything that was in the dog I have drawn, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so that's where the dog came from. So it's just a Korp dog. I'm just giving it a few seconds to dry because there's a couple of bits I just want to go over again before I put some black lines on. Like that bit. See a bit of black coming through there. Oh, wrong yellow. That's the other good thing about Posca pens. You know, if you make a mistake, just rub it off. As long as it's dry, you can go and put another layer over the top of it. Black pen. Let's go and put some black lines on in a sec. Who's that? Just got up. Afternoon. I'm also in the lab. Shout out to the live. Oh, thank you, mate. Hope you're doing well. What are you working on in the lab today? I love the fact that you call the studio a lab. That's pretty cool. So they're like stray dogs, right? Well, I mean, so I drew all of these dogs, yeah, and we call them Korp dogs. But as part of the digital project, there is some stray dogs in which have been drawn by guest artists. So all of my dogs, the 5,000 of them, all kind of look similar in style. But then we've got these like stray dogs, which are just, you know, friends of mine who are artists. We did about 30 different ones. All kind of drew dogs, and we call them the strays as well. So there are some like proper stray dogs in there as well. Working on a rough sketch for a store, grand opening, cool project, super excited. Nice, sounds good. Always good to get a paid gig like that. Yes, mate. Yes, Piers. That's exactly what they are. It's painting a pen. What do I do with these eyes? Yeah, I'm just going to put some outlines on now just to get things moving along a little bit quicker. Always goes a bit quiet when I'm drawing lines. Especially if I'm drawing smooth ones. That's a shocking line there. Thankfully, I don't think you can see that. Oh my god. All over the place with that line. You know when you try and tidy up a line and all you do is just make it worse and worse, and you keep kind of digging that hole, trying to make it smoother and smoother, and all that's happening is you're just making more and more of a mess. What I always say to my students is when that happens, just leave it to dry and go back to it later. And that's exactly what I'm not doing there. Okay. Little bags of skin in there. My phone's going nuts. Why's my phone going nuts? I don't know. So just got says got an idea after you've finished the first eye. I thought of a frog licking what? A frog? Oh, flicking its tongue to catch a bug in the area. When we're drawing a frog, after drawing the first eye, a frog. I mean, I can probably put a tongue in there, kind of just licking the. Yeah, I might do that. Maybe that would work. I don't know if that's what you meant, but yeah, that could work. A frog flicking its tongue to catch a bug. One of the first workshops I ever did online was of an ice cream cone character, and it was an ice cream licking itself. So it just had this tongue coming out from it was a cone down the bottom and an ice cream at the top. And I think on the ice cream there was a face. There was a tongue coming out and just licking a bit of the face. Trying to see if I can remember how I did that. Did that tongue. But yeah, I think I can see that happening over there. That might look quite nice. Line work is appalling today. All over the place. Yeah, what's everybody else up to then? Who's drawing stuff? I love stuff like that. I always say that still a flow state. What's that mean? I don't know what that means. But yeah, I've always said like art's a team sport, and you learn a lot. Well, you don't learn a lot, but all your ideas come when you're kind of working with other people, because they'll come up with ideas. You know, when you're like bouncing ideas backwards and forwards. It's like you saying about the a frog flicking its tongue at an insect, and that instantly got me thinking. Okay, yeah, maybe I could draw this character licking its own eyeball, which wasn't on my radar of things to draw today, but I do like that as an idea, so I am going to see if I can draw that. Let's get some lines in down the bottom here so I can put the tongue over the top. I'll tidy that up later. I know that doesn't look great. Oh, that's a dodgy line. Bryn says, looks amazing. Thanks, Bryn. Thank you, mate. Looks weird, yeah. I can't help it. I like drawing weird stuff. A friend of mine said, you know, you'd be much more successful if you drew nice stuff. But I'm just hooked on drawing weird stuff. I like it. Let's see if I can. So I need to knock out a tooth, and I also need to put a tongue in somewhere. Where's my pink? Should I use that pink? Coral pink? Yeah, let's use a coral pink. Cheers, just got up. So I think it will go like that. So there's the top of the tongue. Just, I don't know, looks like it's touching that tongue. Now I've just got to figure out how to get it into the mouth. Let's colour it in and see. I always think if you're not too sure about what your drawing looks like, just go with it. Make a judgment later. I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but we'll just put some colour in, see how it looks. I think I need to go a bit fatter with that bit. Bit fatter with that bit. Yeah, that kind of works, doesn't it? Does that work? I don't know. Hi, Lucas. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Who else is in? And also working on a lino cut design, making shirts that support my painting. Like t-shirts. Lino cutting and printing t-shirts. I'd love to have a go at lino cutting. It's not something I've ever done, but it does sound like a lot of fun doing that. Here's my teeth. I think I put the back of the mouth in with red. I've got a ruby red somewhere. Who's that? Was that Greets just joined? Hi, Greets. Just got. What is the lino cut design? What are you doing? Oh, I am following you, aren't I? Yeah. Do you ever share like work in progress shots? I can't see the t-shirt, but yeah, I am following you. That's good. Yeah. Oh, same. The same. Do it whilst you've got the chance. At the moment, I'm kind of like knee deep in tutorials with marker pens, so I don't really get the opportunity to play around with other stuff. Not that I'm complaining at all. There's a lot worse I could be doing for a living. Yeah, those teeth are looking alright, aren't they? Yeah. Numbers, abstract shapes. Yeah. Just go with whatever works. Knee deep. What's wrong with that? Knee deep. I'm knee deep in Posca tutorials. That's my life at the moment. I don't ever seem to stop doing drawing tutorials. So just to explain it, anybody who's watching and wants to pick up a few tips, the top thing you want to be able to do with Posca pens is to be able to cut in. That's where you you take the base layer, which for me is this light green, you go over the top of all these other lines with that light green. You're just changing the shape of things. So like you just cut out these lines. You can make lines thinner, you can make them sharper. Just add a little bit of finesse all over the place. But yeah, that's like rule one of getting used to or doing something with Posca pens and paint markers is mastering that ability to cut in. Gonna make the nose a little bit bigger over here because now it goes behind that tongue. To make it come out the other side. Does that work? Kind of works, don't it? Let's make it a little bit pointier. How do you store your pens? I've got a little setup over here. I can't move the camera. The camera's like fixed up here. But I've got a little setup. Can you see that? I can't bring it any closer because it won't zoom. But yeah, I've got all my pens kind of stored horizontally there. They're the new ones that haven't been used yet. And then over here, I've got the ones that I am using, which are kind of stored standing up in, you know, like tinned food. Tins from tinned food. I just use those. That's all I use. And that's advice from Posca as well. Posca say it doesn't matter which way you store Posca pens. Whether you put them upright or facing down, doesn't matter. So that's not my opinion. That is straight from the manufacturer. Oh, should we put some? We should do some lines on that mouth. This nose is looking a bit wet still, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to flick out a few little lines around the eyes. Yes. Oof, don't like that one. So yeah, just flicking it, putting a few little lines in, knowing that I'm going to take them out. Well, not take them out, taper them out a little bit later. Probably put some pupils in, shouldn't I, as well? Let's go and do some sausage pupils. One more. So another tip for you, if you're using Posca pens, is if you're doing like I'm doing Posca on top of Posca on top of Posca. I'm doing a few different layers, and I'm working quite quick with it as well. Even though the paint it feels dry to the touch, it's still quite soft. So when you're drawing over the top of it, just press really, really gently. If you press hard, you're going to start scraping up that paint underneath, and we don't really want that. I quite like those pupils. This character's looking insane. Let's go and just tidy up this bit down the bottom, and then I'm going to outline the tongue, see how that looks. That nose looks really dodgy, doesn't it? Let's see if we can fix that. The shadow was just cutting straight through, and I didn't want that. That looks a bit better. Let's make that a little bit wonkier. As well. Rest looks okay. Hey Sean. Good to know, thank you. I'm not sure what was that the painting over the top. Yeah, I don't know. It might be stuff you already know. I don't know. I just like sharing stuff that works for me. Right, where was we? About the storage of the markers. Okay, yeah. No, I mean, that's what they said. It doesn't matter. I've got a leaflet here somewhere. User guide tips. Prime drying time. Storage. Your Posca markers can be kept in any position as long as the cap is put on firmly after use. The integrated ball means the paint stored in the body of the marker can be remixed at any time. The Posca brush tip is an exception. It should be stored horizontal. There you go. From the actual Posca booklet. Any position is okay. Horizontal for brush pens. Is anybody using brush pens? I rarely use them, but I do need to get one ready for a piece that I've done. Right, where was I with this? Yeah, right. Let's outline that tongue, shall we? So I imagined this line first. Oh, I said I'd knock out a tooth, didn't I, for you, Maddie? Let's go and do that. So, because it might need a couple of coats. Let's knock out a tooth. We'll knock out this one. Might need a couple of coats. It might not. That works all right. Okay, let's just give this another line. I'm a fan of the wonky line. Oh my god. Okay, leave that. Go back to it. Absolutely shocking line that was. Normally, so if I'm drawing like for myself, I'll move the sketchbook around a little bit. But because I'm broadcasting and because I'm recording this, and I'll probably turn it into a reel, I like to keep the sketchbook nice and still, so that when I speed it up for like a reel or short, it will look pretty cool. You know, it won't give you vertigo or anything, because the sketchbook will stay in the perfect position. But it does make drawing some of these lines a little bit more challenging. So let's put in a line like that. A little line like that. I think that'll look alright. That's not too bad. Let's outline that mouth. Oh, we still need to draw the bug, don't we? Couple of wings in there. So what else have I got to do then? So I'm going to put in some little outlines around the pupils. This nose looks boring, so I'm going to put a shadow underneath that nose, maybe put a boil on it as well. And some reflections in the eyes, they're the definites. Yeah. What should I do first? Right, let's go and whack that shadow in underneath this nose. I think I might just do the whole bottom bit shaded out, or should I just have a little bit of this pale green showing just there? What do you think? I don't think it needs that. I think that's just distracting me. Let's get rid of it. Again, that's what I love about Posca pens, the fact that you can just tweak things like that, change them around. Ooh, black pen. There's. So we've got that shadow coming out there. Let's bring some of these lines back. Oh man, that's terrible. Just lent on all that red stuff. That was clever, wasn't it? Thank you, mate. It's coming along, isn't it? Compared to what it used to look like when it first started. Have you ever drawn on watercolour paper? It's extremely thick, so when you're done, it will hold its shape. Also tell that person, bless you. You heard that. It's my missus in the background. Good to know that the echo cancellation and the noise optimization stuff is all working a treat. You can guarantee as soon as I'm sat here like recording a tutorial or something like that, the ice cream van will drive down the street, or my wife will sneeze in the kitchen. One of the beauties of working from home. Brilliant. Cheers, Sean. Sure love that. So what was the question? Have you ever drawn on watercolour paper? Not for a long time. Especially not with Posca pens. I used to do it a lot. Drawing on pen and ink stuff. So that was using watercolour paper all the time. But that was a very different style to what I do nowadays. But are you talking specifically about like using watercolour paper for Posca pens, paint markers? I'd be worried about the texture. Although I suppose you can get watercolour pressed, can't you? So it's not got quite so much texture in it. Right, tidy up the nose shadow. Let's tidy up some of these lines. I'm getting to a point where I'm finishing off. Not going to be long. Thanks if you've stayed the duration. I do appreciate it. If whatever platform you're watching on, just there's usually like a notifications thing for going live, and I'm live streaming more and more nowadays as I'm finding a bit of time to do stuff. So try and turn that toggle on. That's if you want to see me live stream and drawing more. Maybe you don't want to see that. I use paint markers on them and it works well, just not specifically Posca brand. Oh yeah. No, never any obligation to just use Posca like it's the only paint marker in the world, but no, it's good to know. Look at that. Love those kind of shapes around the eyes. So I sold a course recently, a Posca course. Part of that Posca course was how to blend Posca pens, how to blend paint markers, not Posca. When I say Posca, I mean paint markers, but I'm just conditioned to say Posca. But yeah, one of the modules in there was how to blend them, and the technique I was teaching people was using a paintbrush and a little bit of water. So you put your paint on nice and wet with your pens, get straight in with a paintbrush and just start mixing things around. And I can imagine that would look really nice on proper watercolor paper, because it kind of the paint would collect in the grooves and give you a really nice texture. I have to give that a little go, mate. What are we doing here? Let's tidy up some of these lines. Might put some little taste buds on the tongue. We'll see what they look like later. I think they'll look nice later. We definitely got to put the fly in as well. So yeah, let's tidy up. Where's the green? Tidy up a few of these lines. What I kind of like is that this eyeball I did a little bit higher than this one, accidentally. It wasn't on purpose, but it does look like the tongue's pushing that eyeball up a little bit, which has worked out a treat. Thanks for the suggestion to explore. Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Right, let's tidy up. So by tidying up, I'm just cutting out the ends of these lines. Oh, got away with that one. Get them nice and thin, sharp lines. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Yeah, got that line at the bottom to do. Right. I'll come back, I'll do the tongue in a sec. I'm just going to finish off some little spots in the eyes. Nice. Let's put some spots on the actual character. Just going green spots. Why is that wet? Yeah, just green spots, so I don't have to think too much about what I'm doing. I always like to put a few little black spots in as well. Maybe a few under here as well. Yeah, that'll do. Right, let's get into that. Oh, I'm not sure if I can zoom in. No, I can't zoom in. Unlucky. You just have to trust me that this will look okay. So those little pen lines I was putting in with the cold pink was so I could put these great big massive taste buds in. Look at the tip of that tongue, looks crazy now. Love that. Let's put some little black ones in there. think that's what a fly looks like. Yeah, I do. This nose still looks a bit weird. I think that needs something. I'm not sure what. I'm going to leave it though there. I think that's a good place to finish. So yeah, just to recap then, what I did was that was all blank up the top. We just had a dog with a couple of little tufts of hair. Because it was a blank bit of sketchbook, I thought I'd do something with it. We had a few ideas amongst us, but I kind of like the idea of doing this like monster coming out with loads of eyes. Somebody, I think it was Maddie, suggested knocking a tooth out because they've just had a tooth taken out. So I've knocked a tooth out for them. Somebody else suggested, who was it? Was it Just Got Art? Was it you? Suggested about the frog, putting a frog in there, licking, flicking its tongue at an insect. So I thought, okay, yeah, it looks like a frog, so let's see if we can do a tongue coming out and licking its own eyeball because there's an insect on the eyeball. And that kind of works as well. Yeah, nice. Quite like how it's all turned out. Hey Bruno, thank you very much, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. I'll probably come back to it and do some more stuff because it's got loads of space around the side here. I don't know what to do. Maybe have some more bits kind of popping out. Maybe put another tongue coming off the side. I don't know. We'll play around with it another day and see what happens. A green three-eyed monster. A green three-eyed monster with a tooth dropped out. No worries, mate. Yeah, well, thanks very much for joining in, everybody. I'm going to shoot off now, so I'll see you in the next live session. Cheerio. Bye-bye.